Hello, Renee. How are you doing? How is life? How
Hola,
is everything?
Magia. I am doing really well. Really well. How are you? You were not
I'm
feeling
uh,
well
I'm
last week.
good. I'm good. I'm still fighting my back pain that I
Yeah,
gained last week, and it just doesn't want to go away. And
takes time.
I think I've overdone some of the exercise recently, or
Yeah.
maybe it's something else. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just extremely painful. I mean, not anymore. The worst was the weekend, but right now it's getting better and better, and I hope
hmm
that I will recover very quickly.
Very good. Well, I know that I and the rest of the audience wishes you a speedy recovery. I wanted to share something that I've been doing this week and actually started last week. So, for those of you out there that don't know this, and hopefully you won't be disappointed, but coaches also need coaches, right? People like us, we need help ourselves, right? We need people to encourage us and give us advice and sometimes course correct us. And Magic, I don't know, I think you remember Robert Christensen. He
Yes, I
used
remember
to,
Robert.
right? Gosh, and my experience with Robert was very short. He was at a training and he really explained a concept that I was having a problem with in a very simple way, using a whiteboard and a marker. That was it. And that's the first time that I really understood the as a service concept, which, I had been struggling with. So anyway,
Before
Robert is a
before
coach.
before we go there, Renee,
Hmm
just a quick question. I
hmm
see quite a few people joined today. Okay, and I
Yes,
really want to hear at least one hello, one how are you
please.
doing, Magic, and at least one Magic. I'm really sorry for the pain in your back. I really need this. I really need this message from someone. I feel
Magic's
like
ego. Ah,
anyone out there who is willing to say hello, Magic. This is really important today. Okay.
let's see. Come on,
Okay.
everybody. Say hello to Magic.
Quite a few people. Nobody wants to wish me. You see,
There's a delay,
I'm
Magic.
feeling pain. I'm feeling pain,
There's a
guys.
delay.
There is a delay.
There's a delay.
Okay, we'll wait. I'm sure somebody will pop. So,
So, Robert. Mm-hmm.
Robert, and before you
Yeah.
go to Robert,
Yeah.
if you guys have a coach today, maybe you want to tell us. Maybe you want to
Yes.
tell us some experience from coaching. Oh, Alan, thanks, Alan.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing today? You're not
I
that
know.
feeling.
Oh, of
Oh,
the
I hope
pain
that
in
you
the
are not.
back. Oh, poor Alan.
I hope it's not hurting you too much because I've suffered a lot. So
Yeah.
so guys on the phone, on the live stream, if you have some experience from coaches,
Coaching. Mm-hmm.
from coaching, anything that you would like to share with us, while Renee is talking about her experience, would be good to interact. Okay, Renee.
Yeah. So, coaches, right? I think coaches need other coaches. Oh, Kenya. Kenya saying good morning to her favorite duo. Thank you, Kenya. Yes. So I think it's important, right? And we'll talk a little bit today. I'm not just talking about coaching for the sake of it. The law that we're going to talk about today really is a good law to talk about coaching, right? And it's a very healthy process, and I'm very grateful to Robert Christensen and Martin, who's his partner. And I joined his 72-hour win challenge and then another one of his coaching sessions that we just finished yesterday. So it's very healthy, and it's been very helpful for me. And I suggest to anyone that doesn't have a coach, that hasn't gone through a coaching experience, to find someone that you resonate with and get coaching. So, Magic, what's your experience with coaching? I know you've had coaches before.
Oh yes, yes. I had a fantastic coach, executive coach,
Hmm
about 2 years ago, Mark.
hmm hmm
Um, really great listener, first of all. Secondly, a lot of good advice and recommendations. And then, uh, a good coach will ask you a lot of good questions. It's not
mm
about him finding a solution for you, but him helping you to find a solution through good questions.
Oh, I
And
love
what
that.
Mark did, Mark Wicklife, okay, great guy, and I really recommend him. He asked me a lot of really interesting questions, and he also has always sent me a lot of material, additional
Mhm.
resources I could use to actually go through the challenges that I'm very stubborn. Okay, I
No, shocker.
yes, I'm stubborn.
Shocked. I'm
and and sometimes it's very hard for me to give up, to just
Mhm.
let go. Not we will talk about the empowerment in a second, but
Yes.
sometimes I learned from him one thing, that I don't have to win every battle, and that's something that I'm trying to implement in my everyday life. It's difficult for me. It's very, very difficult for me.
I know that firsthand, Magic. I know that
Thank you.
firsthand, people. Yeah. That's why I think
Uh,
this is Magic's least favorite law, not because he doesn't
no,
believe in it. It's just because it's
I
hard
love
for
it.
him to let go. So,
No, the law of empowerment, and we called it leading by letting go.
mhm,
I love this law. I think one of the things that I learned over the years, I didn't empower people and I didn't delegate anything. Initially, when I became a manager first time,
mhm,
I wanted to do everything by
mhm,
myself. I
mhm,
wanted to be and we had this conversation with it, right?
mhm,
Managers versus leader. I was a true manager. I would be micromanaging stuff. I
mhm.
would be on top of every little thing, and I was kind of a driving some people nuts. I'm pretty sure. But what I've learned is the empowerment is super important,
Mhm,
and letting go, it's extremely important when you want to build a high performance team, Renee.
mhm, mhm.
I love this law. I absolutely love this law.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because we in sales see this a lot, where the very high performance salesperson is the one that gets promoted, right? And then you have to learn a new skill. You have to become a coach, right? We in the US we call it a lot player coach, right? Where you were a player and now you have to be a coach. And it's very difficult for a high performing salesperson to let go and coach the rest of their salespeople to do something that he or she was exceptionally excellent at, which is the reason why they were promoted. Um, but the art is in understanding that there's many ways to do the same thing, right? And to let your people find their own strategies and their own approach and just coach them instead of saying, oh no, you should do it this way. You should adopt the strategy that, is it Mark, your coach, said to you,
Yes.
asked you better questions, right? And you should just ask your people, have you thought about this? And what about this approach? So asking questions is very useful in many scenarios.
So again, a question for our audience. There are more than 20 people currently watching us. What does it mean for you to the empowerment? And also, we're gonna talk up. We've prepared the slide with Renee about what
Mhm.
we understand as an empowerment. But if you could share with us, when did you feel empowered? What was the feeling? What was the situation like when somebody empowered you to do something? If you could share either a little story or a little feeling that you had, what was happening to you when you had a manager that
Mhm.
was empowering you, that
Mhm.
was giving you, a certain, and maybe this is a good moment to talk about what we understand empowerment is. So we'll be waiting for those messages from you guys. When I felt empowered, that was this, or this is what empowerment means. So just in case you don't know what empowerment is, and this is not a some kind of a Wikipedia or management,
Right.
books story. Also, Elias, he joined and he just said hi everyone, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have some good stories for us. He always is very
Yes.
active participant in our discussions. This is not a definition from the management books. This is the definition by Magic and Rene. Okay, what is empowerment? And you will see a big letters give to get. Maybe I should make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, you can make our faces smaller. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yes, give to get. The definition by Rene and Magic is to give, which means Rene, give.
You give authority, you give confidence, you really, like Magic's coach, give resources to help people build their own knowledge base.
Exactly. And it's probably the list is not complete, but I think without authority to make decisions, without authority, you need to,
Mm-hmm.
when you empower people, you really need to give them the authority.
Mm-hmm.
You need to also give them the confidence. They need to be confident that they can go, that you have their back. As a leader, that you have their back. They need
Mm-hmm.
to have this confidence to go and get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
But giving authority and confidence without giving resources, it's not going to make the cut. This is not a good story to tell people, hey, go and do it, but
Mm-hmm.
don't give those people the budget, the resources like people, maybe some other help, authority to make the decisions, right? So it has to be the resources. And last but not least in our list is the knowledge. Many managers withhold the knowledge from their people, from their organization. They
Mm-hmm.
stay, in their kind of a space, and they don't want to share anything. They want to keep everything for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and they expect people to, and they say they empower the people without telling them what to do. Rene, I think this is those four things you need to give as a minimum.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has any other things that need to be given to people to empower them, but I think it's just a minimum.
Well, and while we wait for the audience to respond, Magic, I think back to the sales team again, right? And they always wanted the authority, the confidence, and where we really, I think, often fail is giving them the resources and the knowledge on like the margin, right? Because they always wanted the pricing empowerment. They wanted to be able to give their partners a winning price from the start so that we could reduce the hassle of back and forth and really shorten the sales cycle. But unfortunately, right, you can't do that without the resources and the knowledge. And there is always this mystery around margin and protecting margin that only the top brass should know. But really, it's so important to give the sellers on the street guidelines and guardrails, give them the resources and the knowledge so they can have the empowerment to approve a price for a partner, for a customer, for a deal, and they can move really quickly. And you see that startups do this really, really well. In larger corporations, it's really a problem to get the right resource and knowledge to the salespeople.
And it's an excellent example, and it's not maybe today it's probably a time for this conversation, but there are ways, and I'm
Hmm.
just not going to refer to your particular example. As you know, I've been in a pricing
Yes.
organization. I've been leading a pricing organization for many years.
Hmm.
So for all of you that are listening to us, there are ways to delegate to the sales organization margin empowerment without revealing too much about the cost structure, the profitability of the company. There are ways to do that,
Hmm.
to empower the salespeople to make decisions in terms of pricing and give them the authority, resources, the knowledge, and confidence without revealing secret information about the company. And we can have this conversation offline. If you are interested in the
Yes.
ideas, please ping me offline. It's not a topic for today's decision.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a great example. And the salespeople, in some cases, we had done some pilots, right? They did feel truly empowered to make a decision, to take action, to allow. They feel that autonomy that really gave them purpose, made them really good, feel really good about their ability to achieve their number, but also the ability to meet their customers' needs. So that's my covering the two quadrant, which is our next list of things that it gives us.
The second list is, you are a manager, you give the authority, confidence, resources, and knowledge, and then
Mhm.
you allow your people to do a couple of things. You allow them to make decisions. So, you know, they have to be able to make a decisions. They will
Mhm.
start making decisions. You shouldn't question them one by one.
Mhm.
If you give the authority, they have to be able to make the decisions. When they make the decisions, take actions. As a leader, take a step back
Mhm.
and allow them autonomy to see what comes out of the decisions and actions that the organization, your team members have taken. Don't rush to correct. That is my recommendation, Rena.
Mhm. 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 I agree 120,000%. And, what do you get as a result? Right. And give to get is a very common expression here in the US, right? You give a little to get a lot, ideally. Um, and what you really get out of the other side of that equation and that empowerment is really that great motivation and commitment, productivity and performance. And the example that I gave was quota attainment or achievement and customer satisfaction. And then clearly innovation and creativity. Ooh, hold
Absolutely.
on. Yes.
So, and we have a first comment, Jose. I really love you for all the contributions that you always. You should get a special badge from us because
I
you always
know. We should
you're
do
never
that.
afraid to speak up and join the conversation online.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I had the privilege to have a leader that gave me various high business impact special assignments, and he always made sure to clearly communicate expectations. Okay. Provide guidelines and resources. So give them the knowledge and the resources, and
Hmm.
inform the organization about the empowerment and responsibility they'll be having. That is exactly the kind of a feeling that I would
Perfect.
expect from a great leader. Because
Hmm.
only when you give authority, allow people to make a decision, give allow autonomy, give purpose, you will see it. And then that's why I'm saying, let go, take a step back, don't question the decisions, see to what happens, when the decisions are made by your organization. What's going to come is people will feel the ownership of a problem. They'll be motivated. They'll be committed because they'll be standing behind their decisions. They'll be driving it. They'll become way more productive. The performance will increase. And one thing that I really enjoyed from the empowerment, from delegation, from letting people make decisions is the innovation and creativity. I think I said it before, and I'm ready to repeat that again and again and again. I always, at the very beginning, I always felt like I know best what decision to make to arrive at the outcome. And Jose Elias was very, very, very correct. When you delegate something, when you assign, special assignments, you need to be very clear together with your uh, with your employees, with your team, what is the expected outcome. I
Hmm.
always
Hmm.
felt like there is only one way, my way, to get to the outcome. Thankfully, over the years, I learned that if you empower people, if you take a step back and let them drive, you will see a completely new way of achieving the results.
Hmm.
And you could be blown away by the
Hmm.
type of results that motivated, committed, innovative, and creative people achieve. You will be
Hmm.
blown away. You just need to be agreed on the outcome, and that's going to be extremely super helpful. Hello, Deep Adhikare. Hello, how are you doing? Nice for you to drop in. Thank you so
Hmm.
much. I hope that the topics that we are discussing is interesting for you as well.
Yes.
Remember, everyone, if you guys don't talk to us, we know that you are out there because we see the
Mm.
number of people that are watching the podcast, the live stream, but we don't know who you are until you talk to us. So we know
Yeah.
that Alan, Kenya, Jose Elias, and Deep are with us and are listening to us. But we don't know everybody else. We would love to meet you and get to know you better.
Yes, and get your thoughts. But definitely, empowerment is one of my favorite topics. I use it not only at work, but at home with my 17-year-old. And it really helps people learn how to make better decisions, right? And of course, there's a risk. There's a risk to everything. Sometimes people will make mistakes, which is, by the way, one of the reasons you're there as their leader is to, again, let me repeat it in case somebody missed it. Coaching. Coaching is very, very important. Don't tell them what to do. Ask questions, also make suggestions. Did you think about this? Did you think about that? How about if you look at it from this point of view, right? But still let people make the decisions.
Absolutely. Not so many examples from the people out there, but I can think of many situations when I was empowered to make
Hmm.
decisions, and over the years, obviously, so many situations when I was, as I, kind of progressed through the organization, I was given more
Hmm.
budget and more authority. But I remember one of the situations when I moved from one organization to another, and there was a great manager, Brian Humphreys.
Oh, I remember Brian.
Remember Brian?
Yeah.
Ah,
Hmm.
one of the best bosses I ever had. So Brian, it was the first time when I moved into his organization, and I felt immediately he wanted to empower everyone.
Hmm.
He basically gave very clear direction what needs to be done, what is the
Hmm.
expectation, what's the purpose of the organization. And then for the first time in many years at HP, I remember I was given a budget,
Hmm.
and I've asked, what are how do I make decisions about the budget? How can I spend the money? And he said, like, achieve the achieve the outcome.
There you
Magic,
go.
it's your decision. You
Hmm.
go ahead and you make the decisions the way you want to make the decisions.
Hmm.
We have agreed on the outcome, and the outcome was great. I mean, yes, I've made a couple of mistakes, and I had to go to my boss, and I had to explain myself a little bit, and I
Hmm.
had to fix a couple of things. We had to fix a couple of things, but and this kind of approach I was trying, Rene, to replicate with my teams.
Hmm.
Agree on how much budget
The
is
outcome.
given to whom, and distribute as much money as we can,
Hmm.
and then people were able to make the decisions, and all I was interested in is what is the outcome,
Right.
and if you haven't spent all of your money, can we reuse it for something else? Can we shift
Hmm.
it to somebody? Can we kind of
Hmm.
move it around the organization? So, within big organizations like HPE,
You can do that.
budget was
Hmm.
on a quarterly basis. So if you didn't spend it in a quarter, you would basically lose it. So
Hmm.
so we had to manage it to a point where we would use the money in a smart way. If
Yeah.
we didn't use it for the first priority activities, we would use it for the second priority activities. And I feel like that always worked extremely well because people
Hmm.
were empowered to do stuff. And I really liked the fact that they would come back to me and say, I'm not going to spend it. So maybe we can use it for something else early enough so we could really use it for something
Hmm. Hmm.
else.
Hmm. Yeah.
One of the creative ways. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Any examples from you, Renee, you can think of? You
Well,
were empowered to do something?
yeah, I immediately think of. I thought of two people. Most recently, I would tell you, Kara Long. Kara was my leader for a year, and she to me was an amazing example of empowering her entire organization. And like you mentioned, right, she was also very good at explaining the outcome. This is what should happen. If she had some guardrails or some guidelines that she wanted to give us, she would be very transparent and very upfront. But she would give you really all the ingredients for success and then trusted you. So that to me was the biggest, the one of the most meaningful things, right? It was she implicitly trusted you to be the expert in your area and to make the decision that was best for the organization. And she was excellent at sometimes, I kind of had a couple of options and I didn't know which one to pick. She was great at helping you. Okay, well, help to guide you, right? And say, okay, what about let's talk about the pros and the cons of the two options. And then instead of telling you, okay, I picked this, she would say, okay, now that we've discussed the pros and cons, which one would you pick? And it was amazing, right? She was just, it's something that I never had experience with a leader that was at such a high level, that was so accountable for so many big initiatives. And I learned so much from her because she was able to get a lot of things done. And really, it was because of this style and this approach of really empowering the true subject matter experts to give her the best advice. And then she would back you 100%. And that felt really great.
I will tell you a story from my career where I really felt empowered, and it was in a big contrast to everybody else. Maybe that will give us our
Mhm.
listeners a good example of really proper empowerment.
Mhm.
You for sure remember a merger between Compaq and HP.
Of course. Yes.
Okay, so you came from HP side, I came from Compaq side,
Mhm.
and I remember I was in charge of a pricing for Europe for servers, for
Mhm.
client servers.
Mhm.
And my management team, Francois Bornibus, who is currently, he just announced that he's going to retire from Lenovo, I understand.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
running Lenovo EMEA, but he,
Mhm.
so my best regards to
Mhm.
Francois,
Enjoy your
if he
retirement.
can,
Mhm.
yes, if you can hear us. But Francois made it extremely clear. You
Mhm.
need to go to this meeting. There will be a meeting, and we'll be talking about the integration of the HP and Compaq systems.
Mhm.
And there are many differences between our companies in the
Yeah.
way we operate.
Yeah.
Okay, Compaq was way more distributed, like decentralized, maybe not
Mhm.
distributed, decentralized. A lot of pricing decisions were made in the countries, as opposed to
Mhm.
HP was way more centralized. A lot of decisions were
Mhm.
made at the EMEA level. And
Mhm.
I was a EMEA guy, and I went, and he said, like, go figure out how it should go, how it should be done, and then we need to go ahead and implement it as soon as we can, because time is of essence here. If we have new processes and new setup in place, we can go and sell stuff. Okay.
Mhm.
And I came to this meeting, and there was an immediate, I could feel an immediate difference between me being empowered in the
Yeah.
meeting and other
Mhm.
people that were not, because there was a discussion and there were a lot of questions, and people were talking about different options. And then when it would come to me, I would say, we're gonna pick this. That were my statements.
Mhm.
We're gonna pick this and that option, and that's how we're going to proceed.
Mhm.
That's what we're gonna do. Then I remember people are asking, hey, stop, Magic, don't you need to ask your VP for an opinion? And I've heard it 3 or 4 times
Mhm.
when people were questioning that. And at a certain point in time, me, I kind of speak my thoughts. So I said very clearly, look, my VP, Francois, he sent me here with a
Mhm.
very clear mandate.
Mhm.
I came here to make the decisions how this business unit is going to operate. And I'm just telling you that I don't need to ask him for an opinion,
Again.
advice, or a
Yeah.
decision.
Mhm.
I am empowered. I'm just a man. I was
Trusted.
a manager. I was a pricing manager. I'm empowered to make this decision, and I'm just making this decision here on the spot.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
can disagree with the decision, then we can discuss it, but don't question my ability to make those decisions. Okay?
Exactly.
All right.
Mhm.
I went back. So we had this meeting was over. I went back. It was, I think, in Stuttgart. So I went from Stuttgart back to Munich. I lived in Munich back then, and uh, and there was a quiet for a couple of days, nothing happening, and then I get an email from my boss, from Francois, and the email is a response from a couple of people that were running this meeting, and the response, and I'm copied on the chain of kind of a messages, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That he exchanged with those guys, and he said, "I said to you twice, Magic is my pricing manager. He's in charge of pricing for me. If he made the decision, this is the decision. You don't need to reconfirm that to me. I have a full trust. It's
Mm-hmm.
his ability, opinion, knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
everything. He is my pricing guy. He makes the decision." And I felt so good. I
Mm-hmm.
felt so good. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, here is, somebody really believes in me.
Mm-hmm.
I made a decision. It's not undermined. Somebody is trying to go behind my back, okay,
Mm-hmm.
to undermine my decision, and it just comes back to me. So it was extremely great feeling of being empowered.
And Deep is actually validating that. Put his comment up on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
When my manager empowers me, often experience a range of positive feelings and emotions. Motivation. Empowerment from your manager can boost your motivation by making you feel trusted and valued. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely yes. Confidence. Feeling empowered, one can increase your confidence in your abilities and decision-making skill. And then I think
Absolutely.
his message was cut off, and I don't know if I can see it somehow. Oh, I can see it on the
On the link.
LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
on the LinkedIn. So I'm going to read the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Ownership, empowerment fosters a sense of ownership over your work.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of you leaders and the future leaders out there, great commentary. All the current leaders and the future leaders out there, empower your people.
Yeah.
Empower, give them the support, the confidence, the knowledge, the resources, so they can flourish and they can do stuff on your behalf
Yep.
in a way that will just blow your mind, frankly saying.
Yes.
Um, Thank you, Deep. So much, such a smart comments. Deep from India, Kolkata. Great to have you with us.
Yes.
The law of empowerment advocates for unleashing the potential in others, but granting them the authority and freedom to act. Yes, for everyone out there, please remember the law of empowerment. Super important, something we really like and enjoy, and we practice, as much as we can, because as Deep said, it gave him motivation and confidence and ownership of the problem. And I wish you get bosses that will use
Yeah.
the law of empowerment as much as they can.
As a leader, it allows you to do more. It allows your bandwidth to be greater, your influence to be greater, right? And you spend so much time and energy hiring phenomenal people, then you need to trust them to do their jobs. Um, so hopefully, right, this was
Yes.
helpful to everyone.
Thanks, guys, for spending more than 30 minutes with
Yeah.
us. A little bit of a chit chat, a little bit of a discussion, and we'll talk again next week. I hope that my back is fully functional, and I don't have to sit very
Oh,
stiff.
but you know what, Magic? And I forgot to tell you. So next week, I am at my John C. Maxwell event on Thursday.
Oh,
So I won't be able to be here, everyone. But I will be posting a lot from the event. For those of you that don't know, John C. Maxwell is a phenomenal leadership expert, has written more than 80 books on the topics of leadership and communication. And I've been going to get mentored and trained and taught by him since 2012. and he is a constant source of inspiration. He just had his 72 72nd birthday, and he is still vibrant, and the wisdom is incredible. So I will be at that event Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I won't
So
see
maybe
you
we do
then.
maybe we need to move the live stream to Wednesday
To
then or
Wednesday. Yeah,
something.
maybe we'll do
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So everybody, see you next Wednesday. We'll put something next Wednesday then
yeah.
in place for live.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Thank you for joining us, and speak to you soon, guys. Goodbye.